Hello, Yara and Yangtze, Year 2. Welcome to your literacy for this week. Now, the book we're going to be talking about this week is called Anna Hibiscus. And this is a chapter book. You might have read this. I think lots of people in our class have read it, and probably in our classes and in our school. You might have seen it in our class, maybe. So if you know the story, you can still do the work, because it's all about just talking about ideas, talking about Anna's life, and you can still do that even if you know what happens in the story. And there's more than one Anna Hibiscus book, so if you're interested in reading it, you could see if you could find it online somewhere. You might be able to order a second-hand copy. So I'm going to read you part of the story. I think it sounds like the very beginning of the story, and then there's a few activities you can do every day this week. So this is the front cover. Anna Hibiscus lives with her mother, who is from Canada, her father, who's from Africa, her grandmother and her grandfather, her aunties and her uncles, lots and lots of cousins, and her twin baby brothers, Double and Trouble. And that's their names. Goodness. It's a lot of people for her to live with. I wonder if any of you live with that many people. There are so many people in Anna's family that even she can't count them all. Anna Hibiscus is never lonely. There are always cousins to play and fight with. Uncles and aunties are always laughing and shouting. And her mother and father and grandmother and grandfather are always around. To be alone in Anna Hibiscus's house, you have to hide. Sometimes Anna squeezes into some cool, dusty, forgotten place and waits for that exciting moment when her family begins to call. And then a cousin or uncle finds her, and her aunties thank God. So that's the first part of the story. So it's kind of introducing Anna, who she lives with. I can't believe she lives with that many people. I wonder if you can maybe count them all up. So she's got a very big family, and lots of the activities are to do with your family, which I thought would be quite interesting, seeing as we're all living with our families all the time at the moment. We're seeing them all day, every day. Unfortunately, most of us aren't getting to see our uncles and aunties and grandparents every day, but we're seeing our families in our house quite a lot. So the activities are mostly talking about, what do we know about Anna? What do we know about her family? Thinking about what it must be like to live with that many people. So there are 5 activities for you, one for each day. And as a couple of extra ideas, I thought you could maybe write a list of interesting places you could hide in your house. So you could either draw them and label them for us, or you could just write a list. Where do you go when you want a bit of peace and quiet? I sometimes go to the end of my garden. So I have a bench there, it's very quiet, and I get to watch the birds kind of coming and feeding on worms and other bits and bobs in the garden. I also sometimes go into my bedroom, and I can look out the window and kind of watch the world go by, and it's very quiet in there, and it's very peaceful. I don't have any really dark places in my house I could go, but maybe there's a couple of places in your house that are nice and dark and peaceful. Not scary dark, just kind of nice and quiet and cosy. So you could write a list of those places. I'd be interested to see where you go when you want to be alone. And I also thought it'd be interesting to think about, what kinds of things do you do when you want to be alone? What kinds of activities do you want to be alone to do? When I like being on my own is when I read a book, particularly. You're probably the same. On my own, I like to listen to music a lot, and I maybe do some craft. I might knit. I quite like to do drawing on my own. Just sit and kind of draw without worrying about showing anybody what I've drawn. Things like that. So I wonder what kinds of things you just want your own space, you just want to be on your own. What kinds of activities do you like doing when no one else is around? And I thought it might be interesting as well if you ask your families the same question. So what do your parents like doing when they've just got just themselves to worry about, just them in a room? Or brothers and sisters, what do they like doing when they're just on their own, having a nice bit of peace and quiet? Okay, well, I hope you enjoy the activities this week. You can look at the pictures on The document's on Purple Mash and the website, and Mr. Peddle and I are really looking forward to seeing what you come up with. Okay, good luck. See you soon. Bye bye.